Hello, welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at my SHUNDO Palkia Origin form with Fire Blast. I have the issue with my Palkia that it's a SHUNDO, that I don't have the special move Spatial Rend, but why take it as an issue with it if you can also utilize it? And that's exactly what we're going to try to do here today. We're going to try to utilize Fire Blast as basically a move to bait out either Fairy-type Pokemon, which is at least neutral against them, unless it's Tapu Bulu, where it's super effective, and maybe a Steel-type Pokemon, which I kind of want to counter now, which usually Palkia could struggle a bit against it, because the Dragon Breath damage is going to be resisted against both of those types. And you see already, Fire Blast is something that people just don't expect, and the opponent decided to forfeit straight after it, so we can move on to the next battle. Moving on now. Next opponent, we're going to see a Palkia in the lead. That's going to be basically the worst possible lead that we're going to encounter with this team, but we can still just go ahead and go for a Brave Bird. What happens if the opponent goes for an Awkward Tail? You can actually let the move go through. Here we will be able to get basically the KO against the Palkia. Don't think that they're gonna get too much use out of it, and they swap out into the Landorus, which means they're going to be very weak to Palkia in the back as well. Otherwise, like, there is no reason to swap out into a Ground-type Pokemon if you're going to have something better in the back against the Water type like Palkia. So yeah, Sensei Storm is coming through. Thanks to the recent Mudshot nerf, we're going to be able to have the same pacing as the opponent, and as we will see here as well, Awkward Tail is going to allow us to get them low enough that we can go for the full farm down with the Ho-Oh, but we are running into one big issue. The big issue is because of the debuff here, we're not going to be able to go for the full farm down with Incinerate, which I thought I would be able to. But it's still going to be worth for us to use a shield here, because now whatever they have in the back, which is the Rhyperior, has a 50% chance to have its attack guaranteed low, like getting lowered there basically, and we're gonna get the drop there as well, which is great. We can go for another Brave Bird to get them a little bit lower, and now we can take a hit as well with our Tapu Bulu, which is gonna be great, and the opponent decides to straight up forfeit. So next opponent is going to run Melmetal. This is going to be a matchup that's usually a bit awkward because they were running a Rock Slide before, but I think nowadays the moveset kind of changes. I've been running double Iron Bash and Superpower. Some people are running maybe the Thunderbolt as a secondary move, but as you will see here, the opponent is going to go for a Thunderbolt. That is going to be okay. We're going to be able to go ahead and go for the charge move. Sacred Fire is coming through. In comes the Zacian, and as we will see here, the Sacred Fire is going to connect again against the opponent. That's going to allow us to get the shield, which is great, and they're still going to be in a position where we're going to be able to align on Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu a lot of times is actually a hard counter to Zacian. A lot of times they're running a Wild Charge as well as Close Combat. In this case, it's going to be the same case here as well, so we're going to have a great answer here, which is going to be lovely. We're going to use a shield here against the opponent, and as we will see here, Close Combat is coming through. We're going to be able to go for another charge move here. This is going to allow us to get the shield. And let's see what's going to be happening next. We're going to have here the next charge move coming through from the opponent. It is going to be Close Combat, and we have an Annihilate in the back. And that's going to be totally fine, because now we can go for a charge move here as well. It's going to allow us to get them kind of low. We can swap out into the Palkia, hopefully fully farming them down before they can go for a charge move. But they go for a charge move, as long as it's not a Close Combat, we should be fine. It is Close Combat, which is still gonna get us low, but luckily we can still reach another Awkward Tail, which means we're gonna be able to win another battle here. Sadly, not with a Fire Blast. Next up, let's see who we're going to have next. We're going to have another Melmetal. Melmetal really kind of rose up in popularity for whatever reason. Like, this Pokemon is definitely way more common nowadays. Kind of funny here for me, I feel like, but as you will see here, Nature's Matters coming through. We will have the Dragonite coming in, and as we will see here, we're going to have the Dragon Claw coming through from the opponent. We're going to let the move go through. As long as they don't have Hurricane, which they would have went for already, we're going to be fine here. And they're going to decide to go back into the Melmetal, which you can kind of lower a little bit with the Nature's Madness. I kind of want to maybe swap out as well again here, because I have two good answers against Melmetal. They reveal that they're going to have the Landorus in the back, and this is looking quite decent for us. I just cannot screw it up, basically. That's the thing here. I just hope that I'm going to be able to get the opponent, get both shields from the opponent. This would be really good. The opponent decides to go for a Stone Edge, which is great for me. And then now I just have to go for another charge move here, Brave Bird. And this kind of frees up the potential of Fire Blast from Palkia, which might be coming in clutch later on. And let's see here how this is going to go. We're going to let the move go through. If they want to go for the bait, they can go for the bait. They decide to go for the bait, which is hilarious because it didn't really work out for them at all. I stop on the Palkia, knowing that I have to take kind of a hit here still, or like use a shield. But I should be able to get up to the Fire Blast against the opponent's Melmetal. And this is going to be funny because, again, like, nobody is really expecting Fire Blast. At this point, two Awkward Tails would do the deal as well. Don't get me wrong, I'm well aware of that, but it's way funnier to go for the Fire Blast here to knock out opponents. And so we're gonna go for the big boom to melt down those Steel-type Pokemon, and we can see that the opponent decides to forfeit. So for Rhyperior, this team is kind of designed to play, but I actually make a bit of a mistake here. And actually this time around I don't, but I battled this team here so many times, which is not true yet. I made a video about it recently as well. This is the best kind of team to use if you want to have a no legendary team. With the Primarina core as well as the Rhyperior is just perfect basically, and then you can decide if you want to run some legendary fairy type in the back or some other fairy type, like Jonkus for example. Here I had to just kind of try to play it out, but we are like so far behind. Like we have now 100 energy on our Ho-Oh, but the opponent has a shield advantage, they have switch advantage, they have perfect alignment with the hardest counter to Ho-Oh, so I felt like there was no way of us winning this battle here, right? And so I swapped out into my, what's called the, for Tapu Bulu here. We decided to let the move go through because they were debuffed. And they decided to stay in here, which I found quite weird. And so I can go for a charge move, and the opponent lets the move go through. It is going to be the Kyogre in the back. And with this, we can go for another Nature's Madness here, which is going to allow us to get the shield from the opponent. Defense is going to drop here, and let's see if the opponent is going to go ahead here. We're going to go ahead and go for the Brave Bird here. That's going to be fine. And let's see on how this is going to go. Brave Bird is coming in, going to be able to get the KO, and we can now move on to the next opponent. Everluck is going to be next here. The Hisuian Everluck in the lead is going to be a bit tricky. A lot of times nowadays, though, they are not running a Rock Slide anymore because Rock Slide got such a big nerf that a lot of times not really worth it. But this player is still running Rock Slide, so yeah. Otherwise, a lot of people are running Crunch currently, which is going to give you double super effective coverage against the Necrozma Dusk Downwings it is. And also still super effective coverage against the Dusk main version, so Crunch a lot of times is a better play currently on the Everluck. And even the other Everluck might be a little bit better than this one, but anyway, we're going to be able to go for some Awkward Tail baits here. That's the issue with our Palkia, we don't have Spatial Rent, so it's a bit annoying there. But at least we're going to be able to go back into our Ho-Oh and try to go for the full farm down against the opponent. They decide to go for the big Roar of Time, and I have to see if I can go for the full farm down here. We are mostly not going to be able to, so I swap out, we get out the Everluck. I can guarantee take a hit here for sure. And as we will see, we can still get to another Grass Knot by even overfarm by a little bit. Hoping this is going to help me out for the matchup later on as well. But as we will see here, the knockout is coming through. We're going to have the Dialga coming in next. And we will have the Iron Head hitting us as we can go for the full farm down. What do they have in the back? They have the Kyogre, and I make a big mistake here. What I should have done here, I think, is go for a Sacred Fire and then try to still have enough health to go for another Brave Bird afterwards. That would have been the ideal play. Didn't play it perfectly, and we sadly lose because of that. Sacred Fire was most likely would have put the opponent into a range where another Brave Bird would have knocked them out anyway, and also would have maybe dropped the opponent's attack, which helped us then to survive some of the waterfall damage. So definitely mistake by me there. Should have played a bit differently, but that's the thing as well. Like you see the water type, and of course you not usually go for the fire type move. It's always like this, millisecond thinking there, which is important, but doesn't always work out as I want. But as you will see here, we're going to be able to go for another Brave Bird. Brave Bird is coming through, and we will see the Dialga coming in here, which we're going to try our best to go for a charge. We're going to have the Tapu Bulu coming in here now as well. It's going to be a bit difficult because we're now shield down, and we have to kind of rely on Tapu Bulu getting some debuffs and some nice damage onto the opponent. Luckily, we're going to get the damage. We stop out trying to catch the Iron Head, and they're going to have a Tapu Bulu in the back. There's going to be, sadly, a hard counter, and I don't think they have a chance of winning this unless we can land a Fire Blast. So, how likely is it that the opponent decides to let the next move go through here? Let's find out. Fire Blast is going to come through and get shielded, and we lose. Okay, next opponent, the Great Lead Force, Tapu Bulu. That is going to be a very lovely lead. The swap button to Landorus, allowing us to go into our Palkia. And here's the thing as well. We always going to be able to win the matchup as a Palkia because we know we can take a hit. The opponent should not be able to take a hit, especially with the Incinerate damage before as well. We're gonna put them into a range where we're gonna be kind of fine. But what I hope here is that we're gonna not be in a range where they can fully farm me down with like the Tapu Bulu before I can go for a Fire Blast, because I could see them just try to go for the full farm and try to get as much energy as possible on the Tapu Bulu. And I might be even able to still reach the Fire Blast in time to one-shot them, which would be cool. But at the end of the day, If this happens, that's fine. If it doesn't happen, that's also fine. It does look like we just kill a little bit too low here thanks to the mud shot damage. But what we are going to see here is that there's a Palkia in the back and the opponent can forfeit because he completely hardwalled them. Giratina can be a bit tricky, and especially that thing as well. I feel like I never really was able to utilize Fire Blast the way I wanted to. So in theory, it was actually a very smart idea to have Fire Blast on this Pokemon because it would allow us to basically go ahead and trap all the Steel-type Pokemon. I wanted to really hunt down the Necrozma Duskmane, and I never got this out. I always only got out Dialga. Dialga was all of a sudden insanely common. Melmetal was very common in the lead for whatever reason, and I feel like, I don't know, either the meta changed, which could well be the case. I'm not saying that, oh my god, the algorithm happened. I actually haven't heard anything about the algorithm in quite a bit, which is most likely for the better, but I feel like maybe the meta changed a little bit, and I see some Pokemon that I usually wouldn't really see. Could also be because my Edo was dropping a little bit before. There are a lot of teams that you don't, by the way, see on YouTube for the Master League that I try out that just don't really work out as well, but I don't know. We're gonna see here the Nature's Madness coming through against the Giratina. We're gonna try our best to use a shield. It's going to be the Shadow Ball coming in. We're gonna try to go ahead and go for the knockout here soon. We're gonna have the Sacred Fire coming in. The Sacred Fire is going to allow us to get some solid damage in against the opponent. We're gonna get the attack drop as well, which is gonna be perfect. And we're gonna see here as well that Rhyperior is gonna go ahead and go for a Rock Wrecker. We will see here that we're gonna try to go for the full farm down. It's going to be the Rock Wrecker coming through again, and we're sadly gonna lose this battle now. Necrozma, you are the Pokemon I want to face, but I want to face you with my Palkia, not with this Pokemon. In comes Zacian, and honestly, I don't really care too much about this Pokemon because I know that I have some solid answers against the rest in the bag. And so Wild Shot is coming through. I'm actually quite happy about it, and I can go for a Sacred Fire now. The opponent's kinda low. The switch clock is kind of up for the opponent soon though, so I'm gonna swap out now into the Tapu Bulu. I have the attack drop onto them, which is going to be very nice of us, because now we can take basically any hit here, even a player off. And we are gonna go for Nature's Madness, and so we can realign. They're gonna get some energy maybe on the Necrozma, but still, we even would be able to chunk away, but they actually decided to use a shield, which is interesting. Now they decided to swap out of here, which is also interesting, because we can swap out very, very soon. So maybe we can even leave here with a lot of energy, that would be amazing. But I decided to go for a charge move because otherwise I think I just would get farmed down. And so I can swap out into my Ho-Oh, I can get 2 fast moves in. And with that I would get to enough energy basically to get to another charge move here. But I actually decided to do something a bit interesting because I'm gonna go back into the Zacian. I know that they're gonna go for the Wild Charge. I actually decide to let the move go through because I want to get energy with a Palkia to hopefully land that Fire Blast. And sadly, they're going to have a Landorus in the back, which means we win, but we win without the Fire Blast. And so, again, kind of a failed mission. Like, that's the thing as well. I do think that Palkia is cool with Fire Blast. I think it's a good idea to run it if you don't have Spatial Rent. I think it's even better than Draco Media in my opinion. Like, I don't know how often I actually hit a Draco Media with this Pokemon. Especially that Saysop, Fire Blast is actually really, really cool. Like, that's the thing as well. Maybe this video doesn't show it perfectly, but I don't think that kind of reflects on Palkia and on how good this Pokemon actually would be with that move. So what I would recommend you to do is, if you don't have Spatial Rent on your Palkia and you want to use it as a Say Swap, run Fire Blast. It's a cool move, it's going to help you out against especially a Steel-type Pokemon. Against Tapu Bulu, it can help you out. I was not really lucky with this today, which is fine. I did do 15 battles with this team. I never really encountered a Steel-type Pokemon stopping into my Dragon-type, which is quite rare to be fair. I would have, most likely if I played it like for 20 more sets, I would have most likely 10 occasions where I had a Steel-type against me. But, yeah, it is what it is here. Sadly for the last battle here as well, I think I kind of misplay a little bit. I go for the Brave Bird here, which is okay. It's gonna get the shield from the opponent, and they swap out here, and I'm forced to now... Yeah, I make a big mistake here, actually. I should have not went for a charge move, because the only thing that I just gained from this one is damage that I don't need, that doesn't help me at all. I can go for the full farm now, but I need to get up to another charge move, and I would have not been able to do that in time, so... Yeah, I kind of misplayed this. I could have went for the CMP tie at least and hoped for a 50-50 chance to win if I just didn't go for a charge move. But I didn't do this, and like this, we're gonna lose this battle. Hopefully you enjoyed this video though. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I will see you then. Bye bye.